Mark Hill from Greenlees. So, I've been going through the Lord Ashcroft exit poll, which was of 13,000 people. So it's about, well, 13 times as large as a typical opinion poll. 13,000 people on the day that they had cast their vote. It was an extraordinary result, but it's very revealing to pick out certain parts of it. So, for example, the breakdown by class of the voters, which is surprisingly even amongst the political parties, with a couple of exceptions. So, the Conservatives, you would think, would be better represented in their votes amongst AB social class rather than DE. But that's not really the case. They're roughly even at about 45% of all social classes. Labour has slightly higher vote amongst the DE, so that's unskilled, unemployed, or semi-skilled workers. The party that has a strong social bias, social relationship, and of course, as soon as you start to think about it, perhaps that's not surprising, is of course the Liberal Democrats. They're represented by 15% of AB voters, but only 7% of DE voters. The Green Party is roughly even, slightly underrepresented amongst DE voters. And then there is an inverse relationship in the case of the Brexit Party. Their support is at about 3% amongst the poorest workers and only 1% amongst ABs. So they're inversely related, I suppose, to social class. There is one exception, and that is amongst C2, so that's skilled, usually manual workers, C2s. Those people disproportionately voted Conservatives. So while the typical vote for a social class was about 45%, 44%, for C2s it was 50% of those voted Conservative. And that was the key social group that Labour didn't have, so 33% or so on average, but they only have 30% of the C2s. Now that's very intriguing. That means that the Conservatives beat Labour in its core social group 5-3. That's, that's almost double. It's quite a strong result. Ordinary folk voted Tory. That we haven't seen for generations. This used to be the case in perhaps the 50s, when there was quite a strong movement of working class Toryism. And it appears to be re-emerging.